In progress.
Should be set. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And have we all had the opportunity to look at the minutes?
Yes.
From our past meeting? I move that we approve them as written. There was one minor typo, but it was minor enough. I didn't say. Yeah, well, great. So, did I get a second? All in favor? You guys are already home.
Yeah, we did it last night. Since we were over there. Just in case we didn't make it.
Yeah, this one, there was people.
That's why it wasn't there. I had a chance to sign it, so I signed it.
And we have reviewed payroll warrants from February 23rd and March 22nd, and the accounts payable warrant number 21.
I'm second it.
I move we approve them as written, and we get a second. All in favor? Okay, moving right along. Have we got any kind of a RSU report? I did hear a little bit from Mr. Dyers. I don't know who is here. Is he?
Yeah.
Is he? Does anybody have anything to say about the
RSU report?
Yeah, do you have anything to say about it? You said you will attend.
Yes, I do.
Please.
Whoa, what happened?
What happened? What do you mean?
Ha, there we go. They met on Monday night, and the first thing I guess I'd mention is there's going to be a referendum, I assume in June, and there's going to be two articles on there, one for about the new school, and the second one about a fitness building, which the new school is completely paid for by state funds. The fitness building, they're not sure. They may get some donations, but that may end up being somewhat paid for by the taxpayers. That would be included as part of the new school. It wouldn't benefit us over here very much, and so it isn't going to be available to the public, but it's going to be available to the public. But who's going to drive way over there to use a fitness room from Buckfield or Hartford? So anyway, there's going to be both of those questions on the referendum. There'll be number one and number two. Then second item, the new school, if I understood it right, they said will be ready for occupancy by August 1st of 2023. That would be a year from this coming August. That's a $95,000 new school, paid for with state money.
It's nice to be able to at least participate.
Wording of referendum question. Then the other thing was big item Monday night was masking again. And there was a great deal of discussion about that, up and down, in and out. Apparently, the federal CDC has said that we can stop masking in schools, well, everywhere, basically. And there was discussion about whether the RSU 10 should do it now or not. And what was finally decided was that they would continue to follow the CDC, the main CDC standard operating procedure, which they will monitor daily. And if the main CDC adopts the federal CDC, then the very day after that, masking will be done with.
Great.
What's that?
I said, great. We're all looking forward, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then let me see. The only other item I wrote down here was the salary increase for the administration, which includes the superintendent and what they call administrators, is going up 3% this year, which is not a lot. And in fact, I think I understood somebody to say that the last year or maybe even two, the superintendent has declined to accept it even. So, but
Good for her.
and I guess that's all I have.
Great, thank you so much for keeping on top of it. Okay, next is road report, and we have a list here of only 2 roads for proposed winter closing of specific roads for a period of 10 years. Roads that are closed to winter maintenance, it has to come back to town meeting every 10 years. And right now what we have is Barrington Road from 298 Barrington Road north to the end of the road, which is as it has been. And Swan Pond Road from the intersection of Cold Spring Road north to the end of the road. And this is how it has been for the previous 10 years, and this is to re-up for the next 10 years. It should be noted that if there's any reason why one of these roads has to be opened during that 10 years, they can come back to the town with a request. But in any case, and this is to get it ready for to go on as a
Closing
on the warrant to close those roads to winter maintenance and
for another 10 years.
yeah. Do you have any discussion?
There's a process to this. You have to hold a hearing for input. And then at a selectmen's meeting, you would sign the order of closing for each road. And then it goes to town meeting. So I think you have to have a hearing before our other hearings that are going on.
No kidding. Is this new or we just like this is the first we knew about it?
There's a law.
Well, I believe you.
Can I speak?
Sure.
A suggestion? I'm going to be bringing up a date for a hearing, and maybe we could do more than one at the same time. Since it doesn't seem like this issue will take more than a few minutes.
I'm not seeing hearings set one after the other, or you could have this one before a selectmen's meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I see.
You know, this is what we do. For instance, we have to have a hearing every year to accept the general assistance guidelines for the.
Okay, so even before you meet this
We
one.
can just, you know, we probably will need to like meet about half an hour ahead or 15 minutes ahead or something like that. So I just don't recall having a hearing on the subject before. I just remember putting it on. Of course, that was 10 years ago, and I guess memory doesn't always serve.
We're learning about rules all the time.
I'm afraid so. Okay, so we need to have a hearing on that, and I think that the idea of having a hearing ahead of a select board meeting is a good one. And I'm looking for how many days in advance. Do you have a sense of how far in advance it has to happen? Should we plan to hold that hearing ahead of our next meeting or a meeting in April or?
Whenever it before the warrant gets signed.
Yeah,
So
before
just
the-
10
How many days notice that it's at least 10 days, is it?
You have to have 10, you have to have 7 days, you have to place written notice of a public hearing on the proposed winter closing of specified roads or portions thereof in some conspicuous place in the municipality at least 7 days before the hearing.
Shoreland's 10, Shoreland's special.
Shoreland is very special. In any case, so. Well, like I say, I think we should do this before a select board meeting. We can have this back. Thanks.
So you want to wait or pick a date?
Don't matter to me.
I'm perfectly happy to pick a date, but we have it before our next select board meeting. Hold the hearing. So we plan to meet at 6:30 before our next select board meeting. We will hold a public hearing and we will continue with our Zoom hybrid And so people can attend by Zoom if they have anything to say about it. And in terms of posting in a conspicuous place, are you thinking about sending it out to email lists? Yeah, that strikes me as being conspicuous.
Right in the office and all.
Yeah, it seems
I
like
could
it
put
would.
it in the newspaper. Read the newspaper.
Frankly, yeah, I think that. I'm thinking it's probably not super valuable. Sad to say.
He had thought of other roads, but they've been voted to be permanently discontinued. During this Swan Pond past the dump is permanently discontinued as far as I know. Fairfield Road,
Swan Pond up to the dump is called Marble Road, is it not?
all the way out.
Where does it start being
Just
Marble
where it
Road?
turns.
I think where, Swan
the
Pond,
corner.
because Swan Pond actually keeps going straight up towards the backside of Granny Hill, and then it's Marble Road from there up to the transfer station.
So should we do one for that road too, or is that?
Seems to me, if it-
What about all them roads? Are they all discontinued? See, up past Marguerite Howard's.
oh, past Marguerite Howard's been discontinued
For years.
before I. I think, I mean, I don't know what year it was.
So should we put it for Marble?
It might not be a bad idea to put Marble Road on there just to be on the
Just in
safe
case,
side. If there's a section of Swan Pond Road that's not being plowed, it kind of stands to reason that Marble Road is also not
They
being
just sold
plowed.
that place.
Which place?
They just sold Marguerite Howard's place.
Yeah.
Somebody from Portland.
Well. Well, in any case, thank you for that. And do we have anything else on the road report? We're gonna table the part about the grants regarding road and Pratt Hill Road. Jeff Stern is gonna join us at our next meeting. CEO report, we do have some CEO report in here. Okay, so 2 building permits year to date, 1 plumbing permit. This month's to date plumbing permits, of course, that was 2, and 1, that was this month was plumbing permit. Open complaints, Mike Cooper, nothing, I think, Mike Cooper called to discuss moving trees, this time with a vegetation plan and raised bed gardening, which I will support if submitted as we discussed. So I guess you have to head back. Yeah,
It's my understanding he's coming back to the planning board on Monday about that.
No, next meeting,
What?
next month.
in any case, yeah, we have two buildings, one is an outbuilding and one is a 20 by 60 outbuilding and the other one's a deck. So no houses yet. And 1 internal plumbing permit on these bills. Okay, great. So anything from the ACL? No. So that's always a relief.
You hear us okay, Richard?
He's muted anyway. Richard. You're muted, Richard. Yes, what is the universal sign for your muting? Is it
Nah.
It's nice.
Actually,
I'm sorry, I forgot I was muted, so I
that's
didn't
okay. It
know.
was a real blessing.
I can hear Kathy. Lee, I can hardly make out anything you say ever, whether I'm there at the meeting or on here. I can hear I can't hear Leanne either very much. The lady sitting under that window at the far end there, I can hear her real
Is
well.
it not turned on?
Oh, nice fingers.
I was gonna say the same thing. The only person I can't hear is Lee. But I can hear everybody else. I can hear Leanne too.
How's that?
That's better.
Loud and clear.
Now,
It had a light on last night, there's one light.
It wasn't plugged in.
they work better if they are, like most things.
We got this new thing.
I know.
Fucking alien eye.
Yeah,
Bowling ball on stools.
it's a little weird, but in any case, so thanks to Leanne for getting that stuff set up for this meeting.
That's much.
Yes, thank you.
In any case, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Great. Okay, what did we want to hear from him? Or didn't we? No, I don't
No,
know.
I just asked him if he could hear us.
Oh, okay, sure, good enough. Okay, so we are on to planning board report. Shoreline zoning's not on this agenda specifically, but we have planning board report. And so now you're on.
Okay, so the shoreline zoning ordinance has been revised and approved by the complete planning board, and Leanne tells me that we need to have a hearing. And I'm going to be away for 10 days, and Robin is going to be, as the vice chair, will be running the meeting on Monday. And looking at the calendar, when you have your board meetings, unless there's another calendar to show when this hall is busy, I would like to have that hearing for the shoreline zone to be on March 14th, Monday. So we can get that notice out as soon as possible. And I have confirmed with Robin, Teresa Bennett, and Larry LaRochelle that they can be at that meeting, so we'll have a quorum.
Will those meetings be on Zoom?
I guess that would be our regular.
I don't think that.
No,
that
and I did
planning board
talk, I
meetings-
did talk to Robin about, I will try to see if I can attend via Zoom. So I told her about this laptop for doing the Zoom. So she said she would be able to come over to the town office during the day and figure out how to set this up if she wanted to. So that means it would be open to other residents via Zoom.
Excellent. Practicing that a little bit in advance is not a bad thought.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll be trying to tinker it out during the meeting, and that's not easy.
Yeah, so that's.
I'll have it ready.
So
So,
you think that the building would be available? That's what I wasn't sure. It's not on the town calendar, but you must have another calendar for other people that use a building, so I don't know. That was my only question.
Yeah, I think it's free.
Okay. So you now have the information and you can go ahead and set, do what you have to do for publicity. And as I said, I talked to the other people on the planning board.
Nice.
Good.
And they will all attend the hearing as well?
Yes, that was the
Nice.
idea. I had to make sure everybody was free to attend it
Awesome.
and to organize this in my absence.
Well, thank you so much for all that you're doing for the planning board. It is much appreciated.
Because if we wait until I got back, then the timing might be off for getting it into the,
No, agreed entirely.
so.
Well, it's greatly appreciated what you're doing for the planning board. Is there anything else around planning
No,
board?
that's pretty much it. Just I'm learning, I know too much about all the regulations now that I've had to read it like 30 times to type it all out over and over again.
Okay. Ordinance committee has
No.
been still working on ordinances to get them ready for, I think they're working on,
Did you want me to report?
yes, please. Well, I can't tell who's there and who's not
Yes.
because I don't have the computer in front of me. So, yes,
Ah,
you're here, you can report.
we
Yeah, I
have a
think
meeting. We have a meeting the 17th. No, the
No.
third Tuesday, 15th. At 7 because the time is changing on the 13th. I think that's right.
Yes,
I may have the day wrong. It's the third Tuesday.
you got it right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hearing's gonna be at 7.
Pardon?
And we are working on the administrative ordinance.
Hearing at 7 PM.
Oh, 7:50, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, great. Well, I will plan to be there if by Zoom. Very possibly. Treasure, okay, so do we have a fire warden report? Not tonight?
No.
Treasurer report?
I just have the expense reports.
Great. Great, thank you for that.
We did get the audits, but I'm gonna put it on the next agenda, so just got them.
Okay. Thank you. And calendar reminders. Well, the calendar reminders are going to be that there is going to be a hearing ahead of the next select board meeting to discuss the closure of winter roads. That is on March 17th. And there will also be a hearing on the 14th, which is a Monday, to discuss the shoreline zoning ordinance. And that is on a Monday night at 7 PM. So those are the two calendar reminders.
There's one on the agenda.
And, oh yes, the other calendar reminder is that nomination papers for one select board member are going to be available on March 7th. Alrighty, well, wow, racing right along here. Unfinished business, we need to order a secret ballot referendum for the local option liquor sales. Well, I can't see anything at this distance. Richard, did you have something to say about calendar
No.
reminders?
Just had a question basically for Leanne. Will the change in date on the planning board meeting be changed on the calendar?
It's not a change,
It's not a change.
it's a hearing, additional meeting.
It's a public hearing on the shoreline zoning ordinance. It's not the regular planning board meeting.
But yes, the Zoom link will be on the calendar and the notice.
That's what I was asking.
Also, notice will go out on the email list so that people will have an email with the link in it. Right?
Just like this meeting.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have in unfinished business, we have a request from Bonaventura Vineyards requesting a local option questions to be placed on the warrant at annual town meeting for sale of liquor for consumption on the premises on days other than Sunday. And of course, for whatever reason, the state requires a separate question for sale of malt liquor and wine for consumption off the premises on days other than Sunday, sale of malt liquor and wine for consumption off the premises on Sunday, sale of malt liquor and wine to be consumed on the premises on Sunday, and sale of malt liquor and wine for consumption on the premises on Sunday. That looks like it's the last two, look, 7 and 8 there, look like they are the same. Is that correct? Am I wrong about that?
On Sunday,
They do.
consumed and
Yes.
consumption.
We're trying to cover all our bases. They look the same to us too, but we just wanted to make sure we were covering ourselves.
Okay, because the last two look like it's both sale of malt liquor and wine to be consumed on the premises. Yeah, but hey, you know. Well, in any case, we need to sign an order for this to be placed on the ballot for the secret ballot, a secret ballot election. And I move that we place these questions on the ballot, although I have to say, I don't know that, you know, does it make sense to have two that are the identical same one?
They're not
They're not.
consumed and consumption. you
To be
wanna-
consumed and consumption are two
do you wanna
different
look
things.
at the law?
You know,
Sounds like the law.
it sure
The
sounds,
highlighted ones are the ones they chose.
yeah, no, for consumption on Sunday, on the premises on Sundays. Okay, what I see
Will they
is,
then have to meet other state law standards for their
Yes.
product? that
Off-
is their-
Yes. This is the first step.
consumed. That is just beyond me, why there's a difference between to be consumed or for consumption. I just don't get it, but whatever. I say we place, I move that we place these on the ballot as printed up.
I
Here.
second it.
And are we all in favor? Yes. All in favor? You got it.
Thank you.
So
You're
Do you
very
want-
welcome.
this requires a hearing, and I assumed it would be on the same one, the first one, with the ordinances,
Mhm.
or would you rather have it on the second one with the warrant articles? It's sort of like an ordinance. Sort of. Yeah, okay with that time.
How busy is our ordinance hearing night going to be, Lenny?
Well, we only have half an hour for the other one, and you have candidate night and go through all the articles and.
You know, I think maybe we should stick it with the ordinances. Technically, it's not an ordinance, but on another level, it's certainly, you're right, it is an ordinance, basically, because if you allow one outfit to do this, then there's no reason why you wouldn't allow other outfits to do the same thing. I mean, you know.
Lenny is muted.
Long enough for the other?
Richard, did you want to speak?
Was it 6 or
Lenny is muted. She needs to unmute if you want to hear from her.
Well, she doesn't evidently want us to hear from her, I guess. I don't know. I can't unmute her.
Huh?
can't remember if it was 6 or 6:30.
What's that?
The hearing on the day of the selectmen's meeting before town meeting, was it 6 or 6:30.
Gotta be six.
We usually
Maybe it
meet at
is.
6.
Maybe it is 6.
Wow, we get way too much stuff to weed our way.
What did you want to ask me?
Well, I already did ask you, but I guess, but I just need to let you know that we will also be having the hearing for the local option liquor sales or ballot questions at the same time as the ordinance hearings.
Okay,
Okay? I just wanted to let you know about that.
thank you.
There you go. Great.
So is this going to be voted on at town meeting?
Yes, it has to be voted
No,
on.
it's gonna be secret ballot. You're gonna get a ballot.
At town meeting?
No.
No, it will be on the Tuesday before town meeting,
Oh,
when we vote for select board and stuff like that.
oh,
It has to be secret ballot.
all right. I just wasn't sure when this got voted.
No, it's not, it has to be secret ballot.
I think Leanne sent us the date for that meeting, but can anyone confirm when that is? I thought it was in April sometime, but
June.
What? June,
Yeah, the ordinance hearing is gonna be sometime in June.
just so that we can prepare for it.
I think. it's
You know
on
something, I have it
town
all on my
website,
phone,
it's
but I
on the
left my
website.
phone in my car, so,
Just look at the blue website. The date's there.
okay, great. You go. The next item on our agenda is an order for secret ballot election for one select board member. And I'm assuming you have something for us to sign for
Yeah,
that?
I need a motion.
I move that we order a secret ballot election for one select board member. Do I have a second? Yep. All in favor? Yeah, I guess it doesn't, sorry.
Busy time, going up.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any candidates?
No, maybe two.
I know of a couple of people who have been talking about it. At least
Yeah,
one,
been
I
talking.
know at least one person who's been talking about it.
I know two that we're talking about.
But you never know until they take out papers because talk is cheap.
Well, I'll be talking to that one then next Wednesday.
Great. Oh, excuse me. Jeez. We're all on the edges of our chair, I feel certain. Okay, number 3 in unfinished business is the Connect Main Startup Grant.
Should be. Yeah. She's waiting to hear what we've done. We haven't done anything.
Oh, yeah, here. That's it. Yeah, yeah, and that is, at least partly on me because I haven't really been in touch with, I found people who said they would sit on the committee, but I have yet to call a meeting of the committee.
Which one?
Committee to a broadband committee. And one of the things about having accepted this broadband startup grant is that we have to have a local committee. So anybody else who's interested in serving on this committee should contact us so that we can have a meeting. Mia Purcell from Community Concepts, the community development part is should I say community development or the community development of the finance corporation part of Community Concepts is willing to come and talk to us about this and help us get organized. Don't all jump at once. Okay, well, so that has been my homework for a little bit, and I will try to get in touch with these folks over the weekend. Sorry, I don't know if I said that so that you could hear me.
Was it gonna be 5? At least?
It would be good, and they have to be people with an actual interest in this, not just somebody who can fog a mirror, hopefully. Well, no, I mean, I've talked to Mia quite a bit about this, and she wants people who are, business leaders or people with home businesses or people who have an actual interest in the broadband.
Help me out.
Right, exactly. And quite a few people we could count out because there's a number of people who really aren't that concerned about it.
Nope.
And other people who have already been served and they're just, they're not concerned either. Which brings us to open session. Does anybody have anything for open session? Leanne?
Could you start thinking about the town report cover and dedication so we don't get stumped
At the last minute? Good idea. Yep.
Selectmen's report, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of times for, and that too. A lot of times we have had some person in our community who has been influential or a local character of one sort or another who has passed away in the past year. There have been quite a few people who have passed. So.
Yeah, but were they influential people?
Yeah, not necessarily. you know, or people who lived here their whole lives that everybody knew, like Moose, for instance, he was just last year?
Yeah, he was on it last
Year
year.
two, going on two, I think.
Yeah, 'cause he was on it last year.
Right, because I remember we talked about putting Willie Bragg on there too, because he's been dead a year now, but seems like that, you know, I feel like that ship may have sailed. But in any case, it's something to take into consideration. Thank you for that and dedication. Okay, anything else for open session?
Can I just ask a question?
Absolutely.
We're gonna have a hearing for the shoreline zoning. How do we conduct a hearing? If people have comments, are we supposed to take them under advisement? How do we respond after we've made our decisions already? I'm not really clear on that piece.
Really?
Well, it's up to the selectmen what to bring to town meeting.
So, say that again?
The selectmen decide what goes into the warrant for town meeting.
So then, any comments that are brought up at the hearing then get presented to the selectmen to try to adjudicate? Is that the way it happens? So I'm not clear on how things go. I mean, I had that letter you sent me with the comments from one resident, and I responded to them, and I came up with two things that were substantial and, you know, that for a decision. Most of it was just all clerical type things.
Well, evidently, because the planning board's holding a hearing, you're supposed to take the input.
Right, and then what do we do with it? That's what I'm saying.
It's up to you guys.
Okay, that's why I just wanted to clarify. Do we have, you know?
You know, I mean, it's entirely possible that there'll be somebody who comes to the hearing who says, oh, you know, we should be a lot stricter than the state on the forestry part.
Which,
And, you know, and I think perhaps one of the most important things about a public hearing is that people feel like they've at least been heard.
okay,
It doesn't necessarily mean that the planning board or the select board is going to, you know, if in their judgment that a decision has been made on this, that they're necessarily going to change their decision. On the other hand, you have to at least hear from people to hear what they have to say about it. And, you know, if somebody brings up something that is, you know, what if somebody brings up something that is like really weighty and important that hasn't been considered? I mean, it's at least conceivable that that
okay,
would
no,
happen.
that's what I just
Although
wanted to know. I wasn't really
I
sure
kind of
how
think
we're supposed to
not, but-
respond to things. And so for this hearing, were we gonna assume that everybody's gonna have access to look at the document that I prepared that has the old language, the current language, the proposed changes and everything? Is that gonna be printed out?
The
What?
marked up on this.
That would be printed out, because that's a long document.
We have to.
Yeah, there's not much choice.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose, could people,
Paper company business.
I know,
Um,
well,
can-
that's why I brought my laptop, because I haven't even printed it all out.
can, I mean, you know, you know, seen it in electronic format, can it be available to people in electronic format?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
But when they
Yeah,
come
you
to
can
the
put it,
hearing.
you can
they
put it as
probably
an
don't
attachment
take
to the notice if you send it out to anybody, or maybe you could put it even on the website.
it. I will, but when they come to the hearing.
Yeah.
Well, unless they attend.
So
by-
that they have the opportunity to read it ahead of time and
Yeah.
decide, yeah.
Have it with them.
Great, well, thanks, folks. Yes. Richard, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just a quick comment. I can hear you the best tonight that I've ever heard you, even
Well,
when I'm
That's
there.
because I can almost
Right.
reach out and touch the machine here.
That's right. The only one I cannot hear still is Leanne.
Well, that's,
All right.
that is what it is.
Because of where she's
I
sitting.
could turn this thing towards her.
There you go.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, say something, Leanne.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, Leanne. That's much better. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Can you still hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Great.
Yes, I can hear you.
So happy. Okay, great. Well, and now we know we face the alien towards the front of the room. Okay, so we are, does anybody else have anything for open session? I see your hand is still up there, Richard.
No, sorry,
Okay,
I'm all set.
you know, under this circumstance, I'm quite a ways from the computer, so it's not easy for me to see who's there and who has their hand up and stuff like that. Okay, so on to new business then. The only new business item we have here has to do with full-time employee status. And it was brought up at our last select board meeting in open session that should maybe the road commissioner be considered a full-time employee? And, you know, my thought was, well, he only works as a road commissioner part of the year. And one of my real big concerns is that we don't make a decision based on a person rather than any personnel policy decisions need to be made for the position, not the person. But in talking to our current road commissioner, he clarified that you know, he asked actually that we table this until he can be there because he was, I guess, out of town this evening. But he clarified to me that what he really was interested in was whether the town could offer employees of the town and or elected officials to buy into the health insurance that we offer. And you did get some materials back on that?
Yes, they can, elected officials can sign up, we just have to do some paperwork.
Aha. Okay, great. Well, you're gonna have to give us a minute to read this. Good to know. It is good to know. There have been, you know, for the last 19 years or for the last
I was always
maybe
wondering about
17 years, I could really have used health insurance.
I was
But of
always
course,
wondering.
I've got Medicare now, so it doesn't matter so much to me. Hartford, it says here, Hartford has never been aware that these benefits could be offered to elected officials, thus all were never given the option to enroll.
She had to put that, otherwise we wouldn't be able to change our policy.
Right. We didn't know. Of course,
I was elected before and I had it, but just me, I mean, we didn't offer to anyone else.
right, because you were elected as an employee,
Right.
nonetheless. I mean, I haven't had health insurance for all that time, and I've been on the select board, which is probably just as well, because if I had a doctor looking into it, they might have found something wrong with me.
This doesn't mean that the town's gonna pay 100% of the premium for.
Oh,
everybody.
hell no.
Right,
No,
right.
I'm assuming that the
Right.
town's not gonna pay a damn thing, and you'd be
You
entirely
just
on
be
your
in a
own.
group rate, that just allows you to be in some kind of group.
Right. Well, the other thing is, one of the issues for this other elected official, the road commissioner, is that he's been purchased health insurance and it covered all of his hospital bills when he was hospitalized for COVID, but he needs he needs to use an inhaler, and those things are very expensive, and they're not covering any of that. So I'm assuming that this insurance company would pay for medications.
There's a small copay.
Every single policy is different.
Yeah.
And every single variety of policy under a company is different. It's
Right.
very, very complicated.
Oh, man,
Extremely
well, I know that's right. I know that's right, and yet it's not gonna be $400.
There's a small copay.
Yeah, small copay isn't $400, so. Well, great. This is excellent news. So, I think we should let them know about this, and he is planning on coming to our next meeting, so, you know, I think we probably should table this for next,
Okay, because
next meeting.
if you wanted to enact it right away, have the elected official pay the entire premium. She wants us to hurry up and do it, but I said,
I think he said July.
I
Oh,
was,
she said, I would need a letter no later than, whoa. Here, I'm sorry, I was skimming. If these benefits are being offered sooner, the earliest date would be April 1st, but I would need the letter no later than March 11th. The enrollment forms no later than 3/31.
So maybe
I-
they tell them sooner.
Okay,
Can I
so,
explain?
yes, please.
I was figuring July 1st, because that would be the new fiscal year, in case the town wanted to put in some
Right.
money towards it, then we
Right,
would have to
and,
wait.
it-
till-
Right.
and on top of that, we just brought this up at the last meeting. I mean, we kind of move at glacial speed most times anyway, and so this will give us a little bit more time to think this
I
through.
think that's what he wished too.
Okay.
And then we can
Okay.
take it, we can pass it by the budget committee to see if the town actually does want to make a contribution towards this.
Okay.
But this
Right.
absolutely makes sense to me. Sort of feel like, oh, talk about a lost opportunity. I could have had insurance all this time. Damn. Probably couldn't have afforded it, but
I was always
nonetheless.
wondering about it.
I remember you mentioning it, and I said, nah.
So table to the next meeting?
Table
Yeah.
until our next
Yep.
meeting. Yeah, I always said no, but that was partly because, you know, I kind of like to avoid doing anything that looks like I'm doing it for myself,
Hey,
you know? Doing it for somebody else, that's another thing altogether. Okay, well, appointments and resignations. Do we have any resignations tonight?
No.
I don't know that we have any appointments
I
tonight
just saw
either.
something for open session I missed.
Oh, what was that? Let's go back to open
Oh.
session, Leanne.
I think I gave Kathy a copy. I copied the article for capital outlay because you were asking about it last night.
Oh, yes.
And
thank you.
behind it is what we have in the CD. I think I highlighted it.
Oh, thank you so much.
And there should be enough between contingency and capital outlay to pay for that furnace.
Well, that's what I was thinking. We had enough in capital to take care of the furnace problem right off. I'd still like to see more than just one.
oh yeah,
Estimate.
I'll be calling
Gonna-
around
will
next
you-
week. I'll be
Will
meeting
you,
with him.
will you start rattling
Yes.
somebody's cages,
Yes.
please, on that?
Yes,
Because the furnace is, well,
Junk.
it's running right now, but it's got some serious issues. Firebox crack and so forth, and it needs to be replaced. Yeah, it looks to me like equipment reserve or capital outlay, either one would be able to.
And equipment reserve is for roads, I believe. But those are the two that we have reserves to use. We can use up to $7,500 out of the capital reserves.
The capital outlay reserve, yeah. Board of Selectmen recommend the town authorize the Board of Selectmen to act in the town's best interest and allow, without town meeting approval, expenditures of up to $7,500. So what you gotta do is get some more
yes. I
estimates.
will next week.
You know, I mean, we could conceivably use some of that plus contingency, but if we wipe out contingency, we'll end up with a contingency that we can't cover. It's just the way things work.
And this is in a CD, so it might be a little penalty.
There might be some penalty involved as well. Right, for up to $7,500 for any necessary equipment and or structures, provided the expenditures have a useful life of at least 5 years. And said authorization shall remain in effect until otherwise repealed or amended by the voters at duly called town meeting. Yay. Wouldn't you know it? Richard, you have something to say?
Well, just repeat, as I understand it, that furnace that's there is only about through half of its expected life.
That's correct.
And I would still point out that I think it should be explored as to whether or not it can't be repaired rather than buying a new
One of the
one.
things we were looking at, however, here's one of the issues. And that is that Kathy has been looking into, what's his name, Mike, was it?
Mike Spear.
Mike Spear said that he would possibly be able to replace the firebox part of it, which really makes sense to me. I mean, I'm a maintainer of older equipment myself. And so that makes sense to me. However, it has to wait until spring when we don't really need to be running it. Right now, where it's still dipping down to single digits, we can't afford to go without the furnace because we could freeze up the pipes. We could also shut the town hall down, but that would mean draining the pipes and, you know, all that.
Plus, I wonder if you get a more efficient machine if you got a new furnace, just thinking about what's happening to the price of fuel.
Well, I agree on that. That was one of the first things I said. Hey, this could be our big chance to figure out a way to heat the hall using a more efficient furnace. And the other thing is, I mean, I kind of gave up on the efficiency main grants concept because they were so hard to work with when I called them up. But heat pumps are another possibility. Certainly, a heat pump would never heat this entire
Yeah,
hall.
I've heard with the electric rates going up, it's not helping you very much because a lot of electricity goes into the heat.
Well, you know,
There's a lot of factors, I have to say.
there's a lot of factors to consider. There's a lot of factors to consider, you know, if
Well,
we.
since I'm turning 80 this year, I'm kind of in favor of older.
He's waiting for a party.
Yeah, I get, yeah, it sounds like he's bucking for a birthday party here.
Well, that would be a surprise.
So in any case, what I was gonna say is that, you know, there's pretty much no way a heat pump is gonna heat the entire building. And with the price of electricity going up, it could be ridiculous. However, one of the things we still have on our, on the table is the government Office of Innovation and Policy for the Future, whatever, Go PIF grants. And, you know, it's entirely possible, given this roof over here, the southern exposure of this roof is pretty darn close to perfect. If we were to put some solar panels on this building, we might be able to turn the meter backwards enough to make having a heat pump really make sense. And so, you know, there was some talk about maybe putting a, no, Lori was the one who was thinking outside the box and talked about possibly putting up a panel farm, whatever you want to call it, you know, a solar farm to that would benefit the town in terms of basically, you know, you pump it on, you pump the power onto the grid, and then you get your credit on your electric power bill. But you know, we could do the same thing right here. Is another possibility, is to do the same thing right here on our roof, and again, turn the meter backwards so that having a heat pump really wouldn't be such a dreadful expense. I mean, if you're paying straight out of your pocket and not taking in any power, it's kind of a different story than if you have, you know, if you have a way to turn the meter backwards. At least that's my understanding. Of course, I use solar power, but I'm off grid, so I don't actually, not a central power user, but you know, that's my understanding of how it works.
Just for what?
Hey,
Oh, sorry, Richard.
Oh, sorry, Richard,
Pop up.
voice for a second. Jen, you haven't had a chance to speak.
just for what it's worth, we put in solar panels last summer and switched over to heat pumps for this winter. And they do have different size units. So, I mean, you all are familiar with this old house. It's decent size. So we have a larger floor model unit that's, they're designed for, you know, certain amount of square footage. So you might actually be able to get a unit that's big enough to do the space that you're looking for. Again, we did put in the solar panels, so that's obviously helping to offset the electricity costs, but we had a dying furnace, so we had to make a choice.
Sure, no, and I wouldn't imagine a heat pump to try and heat this space here so much as a heat pump to back up the furnace for the kitchen bathroom area, because a heat pump, my understanding is a heat pump alone is usually not enough.
We still have wood stove here, so I mean, we'll probably always run that, but my point, I guess, is there are different sized units, so you might be surprised. You could get a larger unit, like floor model type thing that we have in one of our rooms that might heat a larger space than you're anticipating. Like there's more than just the wall ones like we have in here.
Right, yeah, well, thank you for that. Richard, did you have something you needed to add?
Me, yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah. A pop-up from the Boston Globe. Europe's nuclear power plant is on fire after Russia attacked the power station, plant spokesman says. That's a pop-up just came up from the Boston Globe.
I'm sorry to hear that. But thanks for the update. Yeah, it is.
I just read the war preparations bill this week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad news. You said a European one, or in Ukraine, you mean?
Europe's largest nuclear plant is on fire after Russia attacked the power station.
It is in Ukraine.
Now, it doesn't say where in Europe it is, so I can't tell you.
Well, but it's in Ukraine because that's where they're bombing. Okay, well, thanks for the update. I think we're gonna keep on our own stuff here. Okay, so is there any training to be considered? Okay, so I was not able to attend, I know from the minutes, it was agreed that I believe it was Kathy and I would have, yes, Kathy and I, we approved funds for us to attend an art workshop on March 2nd. Was this expended?
No,
Because I was not able to attend on March 2nd.
you couldn't get in for the
Uh,
calls.
I was not able.
Okay, well, I sent the email to you guys and the budget committee,
Right.
because I had the
right, yeah, yeah,
recording of the meeting that I attended, which was pretty much the same
Right.
thing.
Right, so,
So it's still there if you want to watch it.
yeah.
That's all on recording.
Well, that's my understanding, and what did Bob say? He got through the
Yeah,
first few
I
minutes.
had to
of
watch
and
it
then-
twice because I zoned out.
Oh, my God, I should, well, when I saw that you said you watched it twice, I was thinking to myself,
Well, plus I was working.
Leanne, she's such a go-getter, she's watching it twice? I mean, really, that's. Yeah, I should think it was, because I have been unable to do this, but is most of the material in that packet that you copied? So I feel like, maybe what I need to do is just read the copy.
And you can go online, there's all kinds of links, tons and tons of information.
Okay, well, that takes us past training. What do we have for correspondence tonight?
There's two of those, they're the same thing.
Look, one for me and one for you. What is this from Department of Transportation? Dear community leader, This is about the 2022, 23, and 24 work plan from the Department of Transportation. The Department of Transportation is excited to roll out a new village partnership initiative for 22. The initiative will focus on Maine's iconic downtowns and village centers where Mainers meet, shop, and do business. That might not be Hartford. It's a critical distinguishing feature of our New England communities. Yeah, they're offering $5 million in matching state funds for projects at one of two levels, either large transformative projects focused on placemaking in a village center to be walkable, bicycle friendly, and business friendly, or small spot improvements such as gateway treatments, traffic calming, and improving pedestrian facilities and ADA compliance. Oh, wait a minute. This actually does sound like it could be kind of cool. We could certainly use some traffic calming going past this town hall. My understanding always was we couldn't put a crosswalk there because we don't have sidewalks. They got money for it. Why wouldn't we put a little sidewalk along there so we could have a crosswalk? And then we could have a slow crosswalk sign. I always thought a raised crosswalk right about here would be perfect, because when those pump trucks come through here, or the chip trucks come through here at 60 miles an hour, they wouldn't have to go over a raised crosswalk very many times before they remember to slow down coming through Hartford.
I say no if you're handing it out.
Just a thought.
Everybody else is gonna have somebody talking.
I'm all about it. Well, so in this case, this actually looks like it's got some potential. I look forward to discussing these and new and proven partnership initiatives with you. Don't hesitate to contact me if you have questions. Well, you know, this actually sounds like it has some potential for our town.
How big is it?
Huh? Okay, well, so we have reviewed correspondence, which
You made
takes
this
us.
or your mom?
I did. She don't cook no more.
Oh my God, look at that.
She don't cook no more.
Okay, so I just want to, okay, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting, but everybody needs to take a look here and see. Kathy posted online the recipe for a coconut cream pie, and I said, oh, that looks really good. You got to bring some to our next meeting. And by God, she did. Aren't you impressed? I know I sure am. See, you should have showed up in person, folks. There's plenty.
It
for
looks really
everybody.
good. Thanks for putting it right in our faces.
Well, that's what you get for showing up.
Right.
And but nonetheless, thanks for showing up online. I'm happy to see you guys, even though I can't see you real well. And oh,
You know, I can be there in 2 minutes.
Come on,
well, you better hurry up then.
hurry up,
I'd have to get dressed.
hurry up.
Oh, look, here's the other piece of
You coming up?
correspondence is the waste and recycling.
Oh,
Have you ever watched the movie Dr. Chernobyl?
Yeah.
So we had 76.99 tons of cardboard and brown paper. 5.7 tons of white paper, 1.31 tons of #2 plastic, 4.13 tons of tin and aluminum, 1.75 tons of glass, and our recycling total for 2021 is 89.25 tons. Congratulations, Hartford.
Does it help?
I have a quick question about that. Does the town receive any money for our recycling? Because I know like,
No, sir, because we don't run a transfer station and we don't manage it ourselves. We actually pay $1,000 a year for the recycling to be hauled, and then it belongs to the waste hauler. But we don't have any associated expenses such as baling cardboard and stuff like that. The main thing is that we have the avoided cost of 89.25 tons. I don't have my phone in front of me, so I'm not gonna do the calculation for you, but at $75 a ton, is it, or $80 a ton? We have 80 times, 80, $80 times 89.25 is our avoided cost.
Okay.
You
Because it seems like they might be double dipping.
89.25 times 80. No, somebody's got a phone that they can do the calculation. Yeah, hey, why not? I would have done it on mine, but I left my phone in the car.
Because I'm sure they're making some money off what's getting recycled, and then they're also.
They are, because they wouldn't be bothering with it.
89 point something or other,
89.25 times 80.
But they don't really-
7,140,
How much?
7,140.
Okay, so our savings, our avoided cost is 7,140 and minus $1,000 that costs us for the trucking of their every other week recycling pickup.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
I'll try to decide every week.
No, they don't charge us by the week. It's $1,000. It's $1,000 a year, but this is the annual report.
Which
And
is
so
cheap.
out of $7,000, $7,140, we minus $1,000, it's $6,000, $6,140 we have saved. Yay. Here's this. There you go. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna take this back to you. You wanna look at this? Nope, you get it. Well, I've got a copy right here. Anyway, so, don't mind us while we have a little pie. Let me see if we got a pie server in there.
Are you done? Did you adjourn?
Yes, I did. Thanks for coming, folks.
Thank
you.
you. Enjoy the pie.
Hey, Lenny, sweatpants and the t-shirt.
Hey, Richard, I'm shutting this off. Bye-bye.